Oh, really? Really? Well, I gotta see this. I've been saying, like, why haven't they, released anything, man? So, let me see here. Well.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today we have some huge news about the case of Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is currently in court defending himself against alleged assault charges. Most people know by now, but if you're not aware, Jonathan Majors, the Marvel star who plays Kang the Conqueror in the MCU, who also starred in Creed 3, was arrested a couple of months ago on charges of assault. His ex-girlfriend is the one who is pressing the charges against him, claiming that he lacerated her right ear and broke her right finger. Tuesday, June 20th, Jonathan Majors appeared in court for the very first time, where the judge set an official trial date for August 3rd, where he is prepared to provide evidence to prove that he is innocent. And we have a lot of new evidence that has come out today. And this is released by his official team. His lawyer released the evidence to Insider.com, giving them the exclusive on this, and this does include video footage. And like I've mentioned, we're covering this because this will directly affect the MCU. If Jonathan Majors is found guilty, Marvel Studios will drop him as Kang the Conqueror, and they will have to recast him. And we've remained neutral while covering this news. However, I do have to say, this evidence that is released today and the timestamps on everything that supposedly happened does seemingly support the fact that Jonathan Majors is innocent. Now, of course, we can't say anything for sure, but we will go over everything that was provided to Insider, which they have posted an exclusive article on that really describes in detail all of the evidence and the events that took place and when they took place and why this is in Jonathan Majors' favor. So hopefully, if this does turn out to be true and Jonathan Majors is innocent, he can stay Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I personally think he did an amazing job as Kang. And of course, I really hope that he didn't assault this woman. So let's break it all down, and if you want to stay up to date on everything in the MCU, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're also doing a giveaway. We'll talk more about that at the end. So as I mentioned, this Insider article is extremely detailed, and I don't want to miss anything, so we're going to go through the entire thing. It starts by claiming that on June 20th he did go to court. He didn't really say anything besides good morning to the judge. His lawyer, Priya Chaudhry, told Insider that they had hoped that the misdemeanor assault charges would be dropped by the Manhattan prosecutors because of the evidence that they provided so far. That did not happen, and they set a court date for August 3rd. But Majors' lawyer spoke up and said that he was still very eager to prove his innocence to a jury. So Majors was arrested on suspicion of hitting his then-girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, in a fight on a Chinatown street corner. His lawyer wrote a letter to the criminal court stating, Ms. Jabari claims that Mr. Majors assaulted her in a car in Chinatown around 12 a.m. on March 25th, 2023, and during this incident, Mr. Majors broke her finger and lacerated her ear. She goes on to state, we have proof that this is a complete lie. She says that they have defense eyewitness interviews, phone records, credit card statements, and hours of surveillance and police body camera video. And that is a lot. That really is a lot of evidence to have in favor of Jonathan Majors.
It does sound a lot.
As I mentioned, we do have video footage of some of this evidence that we'll talk about in just a bit. The article goes on to state that Majors' lawyer Chaudhry alleged in the letter that this evidence suggested that Jabari injured herself some 7 hours after that midnight fight, when Jabari took a fall while alone in Majors' penthouse apartment after drinking and taking sleeping pills. Now, Insider does state that the evidence that was shown with Insider, which wasn't the entirety of the evidence, did not show how Jabari was injured, or didn't show the entirety of the fight between Majors and Jabari. However, it did show that Jabari's ear and finger were uninjured right after the fight for several hours, meaning that when people saw her immediately after the fight, and there is footage of this, she was not injured at all, which is evidence supporting that Jonathan Majors did not assault her. And here's where it gets really interesting. Chaudhry and Majors' team turned in video evidence to the court. This comes from police body-worn camera footage that was turned in, and it shows Jabari in Majors' apartment saying, "I don't know," 19 times when asked by arriving medics and cops how she was injured. So when the cops arrived and the medics arrived, they asked her, how did you get hurt? And she said 19 times, I don't know. Then Chaudhry says in her letter that the NYPD footage showed the lead officer coaching Miss Jabari to accuse Mr. Majors of assault. She said in the letter that the arrest was racist and showed the officers questioning among themselves how Majors, who they didn't recognize as a famous actor, could afford to live in a luxury penthouse. Chaudhry then stated, even though Ms. Jabari admitted to drinking to the point of throwing up, taking sleeping pills, and having no idea how she woke up in a closet with a cut on her head and injured finger, the police jumped to the conclusion that Mr. Majors must have done this to Miss Jabari. And here's the thing, they have video evidence of this from the police body cams that they have submitted to the court already.
How dirty
so
is
they have
that?
seen this. This is why they thought that they would dismiss this case altogether, because Jabari literally said, I don't know, many times when asked how she got hurt, and it shows the police kind of coaching her to say that it was Mr. Majors. This is pretty damning evidence, and really does support Jonathan Majors. Now, we have more evidence, but I do want to talk about what Chaudhry has said about Jonathan Majors. She said that he wants this to go to trial yesterday, meaning he has wanted this to happen already. He wants to go to trial, he wants to show the evidence, he wants to speak, and he wants to prove himself innocent. She says that he is heartbroken as he watches his career dangle in the wind. And it really is heartbreaking if he is innocent. And let's talk about the other evidence that was supplied, and let's also talk about the eyewitnesses that they have. The alleged assault supposedly took place in a car as Majors and Jabari were being driven somewhere, and they state that this was not a direct employee of Jonathan Majors, but instead worked for a company called Black Lane, an upscale private black car company. Chaudhry, Majors' lawyer, said that this driver is prepared to testify in court on Majors' behalf that Majors never raised his voice or a hand against Jabari as they argued inside his car or after he pulled the car over and the dispute spilled out onto a busy street corner. Chaudhry said the driver of the car saw and heard everything, and now he is prepared to testify. To make it even more interesting, there is street surveillance video that was reviewed by Insider, and they state that you can see Jonathan Majors trying to flee from Jabari as she pulls him out of the car, and they state he is a big guy, and she's pulling him so hard that she pulls his body into the car as he's trying to run away. And they say, and you see the coat rip, and he does finally get out. So Majors, after getting into this argument in the car, where the driver says he never raised his voice or lifted a hand against her, is trying to get out of the car. He told the driver to stop, and he's trying to get away from her, but she is literally pulling him back into the car to the point to where the street surveillance video shows him being pulled back into the car and shows his coat being ripped until he finally does get away. And to top it all off, what's kind of funny is that a small group of women who witnessed the fight recognized Jonathan Majors, and the woman jumps on him, hugs him, and asks for a selfie. And he's so nice, and they take a selfie. This is what his lawyer said
during this whole fight.
By the street surveillance footage. Also, the footage reviewed by Insider showed Jabari using both of her hands to briskly fiddle with her hair. The lawyer said she ties her hair into a knot. If your finger was broken and you went to tie your hair into a knot, it would hurt. She continued to say she gathered her hair behind her ear. If your ear was cut and your finger was broken and you went to do that, you would be like, oh, what happened? But she's totally fine, speaking of the surveillance footage. And here's the real kicker. Here's where we dive into the surveillance footage. After this, the two separated. Majors went to an Upper East Side hotel, and Jabari went to a nightclub called Lucy's, which is spelled Loosie's. And phone records show that Jonathan Majors, not too long after he went to the hotel, sent her a breakup text before turning off his phone. But perhaps the most important part of all of this is the footage obtained by Jonathan Majors' team of Jabari in that nightclub minutes after the fight took place, and for hours she stays there with no apparent signs of being hurt whatsoever. In fact, the footage shows her using her right hand many times, walking up the stairs as we can see here, and then in some other footage, as you can see here, she goes up to the DJ and he grabs her by the hand, and she has no signs of being hurt. So video footage shows her completely fine, partying immediately after this alleged assault. And then to top it all off, there is another witness, because eventually Majors did go home to his penthouse apartment, and apparently one of the doors inside his apartment was locked, so he called the handyman to open the bedroom door. Once he came in and opened the door, Majors and the handyman found Jabari half naked and passed out on the floor of a walk-in closet. And the handyman is prepared to testify that this actually happened in court. And Majors is the one who actually called 911 at this point in time, in which he was then arrested. Also, they say that police body camera surveillance footage does show when Jabari is alone with one officer, her looking down at her hand going, "What happened to my finger?" Showing that that was the first time that she actually noticed her finger was hurt. And this was after they had already taken Majors away. So this is all pretty damning evidence that Jonathan Majors is innocent. Of course, we have to wait till the official court ruling, but we do see the video surveillance here of Jabari seemingly being fine and uninjured, and all of the evidence that they have said they have submitted to the court. That is a lot.
This all sounds
favor. Plus, not to mention, several witnesses that he has are ready to testify on his behalf, including the driver, who said that Jonathan Majors never raised a hand or even his voice, and according to the victim, the assault happened in the car, and the driver can testify, no it didn't. Plus the video footage of him trying to leave the car, her trying to pull him back in, and then him eventually walking away. So hopefully this is good news. Hopefully he really is innocent, and this evidence does prove that.
I mean, with all this, it sounds like he is.
Conquer in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and his career can get back on track. But of course, if we hear anything else, we'll be sure to let you know. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest news. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. This will enter you in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, PS5, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items as well. Don't forget to follow us on
sounds
Instagram,
like he's
Twitter,
got an
and
avalanche
if you want to further support the channel. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Wolf Wolf.
It sounds like he's got an avalanche of evidence that he's innocent. Like, I mean, it sounds like this should be over very quickly in August. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, damn. You know, like, I like to keep, you know, the open mind, like, okay, well, what evidence are they going to bring against him? Because it sounds like he got all the evidence that he's, I mean, everything, you heard everything Cosmic Wonder listed. Make sure you subscribe to him. I mean, and the footage, I mean, the footage, the body cam footage, she don't know what happened. What? It'd be insane for it to come back, for him to be guilty. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think about this situation. Sounds like the man's innocent. Hurry up and get his career back online and pay him what he's due. Because, man, all over woman. Good Lord. 10 million subscribers. Whoa.